Bring to mind your first interactions with digital technology. Was it a dial-up modem, a video game, an email? For me, my strongest memory is of connecting to the internet. I was sitting in the computer room of my college dorm, and I remember being excited, feeling empowered, and ready to explore the digital world. I've felt so strongly about the power of the internet that for many years I worked to promote what's known as digital inclusion, or universal access to the internet. The internet, I believed, was like air or water. Everyone deserves the right of access so they can communicate and inform themselves. And I still believe that. But the internet of the early 1990s is not the internet of the 2000s or of 2019. For one, the internet has become a multi-billion-dollar industry that reflects a grossly unequal society. Microsoft, Amazon, Facebook, Apple, and Alphabet earned more than $800 billion in revenue in the last year alone. Second, we generate more data than ever. 2.5 quintillion bytes of data on a daily basis, and advancements in data processing power make it possible for computers to analyze and discover patterns in our data and predict where or what we might want to see, do, or buy. Third, we don't have to go online anymore or on the internet. Internet-enabled, data-driven technologies can connect us from anywhere and can connect us whether we know it or not. The upshot of all of this is that it puts us at risk of new levels of social control. And control by machines and the people and institutions behind them can make it difficult for us to exercise our free will, make an independent choice, have power over decisions in our lives. This realization came to me in 2011. I was working at a think tank in Washington, D.C., promoting universal broadband adoption, and starting to think about digital privacy. The problem of technology as a social control hit home for me one day while I was conducting research at an organization that's based in a predominantly Black US city and that teaches computer and internet skills to low-income adults. An instructor told me about a student who had never been online before and was learning to use a search engine for the first time. As a fun exercise, the instructor guided the student to type their name into a search bar. What came back was an arrest record from many years before. To say the least, it's not what the student or the instructor had expected. In fact, this woman's first internet experience, her first internet memory, was a representation of herself that wasn't her own. It was a search engine's, as well as all of the internet users who had previously searched for names like hers under the assumption of criminality. She had a digital reputation that literally preceded her and marked her as a criminal. But an arrest is not a conviction. And as we know from studies in racial profiling in the United States, law enforcement disproportionately targets people of color, especially African Americans. The problem of technology as a social control today is ever more present. In the work of Our Data Bodies, a research collective that I jointly lead, we're interested in the impacts of data collection and data-driven systems on the lives of marginalized people. Based in Charlotte, North Carolina, Detroit, Michigan, Los Angeles, California, our data bodies has interviewed nearly 140 people struggling to get by. So in North Carolina, in Charlotte, North Carolina, we spoke to people who've experienced a rapidly changing city, whose benefits are unevenly dispersed. These were people searching for gainful employment, who felt marked by data, such as a criminal record or a credit score. As Jill, one of our interviewees, said, "I have a criminal background. I pled guilty to worthless checks. It was 2003. That's almost 15 years ago, but it's still being held against me, and it still hinders me. It makes it extremely hard to get permanent employment. Basically, all of my jobs have been temporary positions or contract positions." In Detroit, we spoke to people who experienced the effects of the 2008 financial crisis, a collapsing local economy, a crumbling public infrastructure, including the shutoff of water and utility services. Many Detroiters felt preyed upon by predatory lenders, and even the state seeking to profile and exploit them for being in debt and disadvantaged. As Bebop, a Detroiter, said, "I know all of my information from experiencing a foreclosure, filing for bankruptcy, utility shutoff. All of that is pretty much documented and is out there for everybody to see when it comes to me being able to live and provide for myself, my children, and my grandchildren." In Los Angeles, we talked to people who are predominantly unhoused, in temporary encampments, or living in public housing. Many Angelenos felt social and welfare services monitored their every move in demoralizing and incapacitating ways. Speaking about public housing and data collection in LA, Mika said, "We have what's called an annual review, where every year, even though we've applied to be here, it's almost like you have to apply and reassure them that you are poor and doing bad in order to stay here." So it's not actually made to help you do any better. It's actually made to keep you right where you are. In each of these cities, tech exacerbates a cycle of disadvantage, and the refrain of control is loud and clear. Data collection and data-driven systems are a setup. They entrap us, be they tied to hiring and employment, personal wealth and prosperity, or social welfare. These socio-technical systems of control set us up for failure. This problem of control raises the following question. What does it mean, and what would it take to be digitally included on our own terms? Fortunately, I think the Charlotteans, Detroiters, and Angelenos we talked with have an answer. And their primary response is refusal. People we talk to embody the spirit of refusal. Simply put, they are unwilling to accept data-driven systems in the terms and conditions that government and private actors present to us. They go to staggering lengths to rectify data that miscategorize them. They inject noise into data-driven systems to confuse them. They are dropping out of social media to avoid targeting and abuse. Instead, they're restoring human relationships, finding ways to redistribute resources, and building power, not paranoia. As Sam, a Detroiter, said, "I don't think I've surrendered to the fact that they're just going to do what they're going to do." These are examples we can and should all learn from. But two things currently hold us back. First is the prevailing wisdom that it's not my problem, or it can't happen to me. But technologies of control are not the sole domain of the marginalized. Tech companies routinely use dark patterns or deceptive strategies to lure us in. And we don't need to go too far for evidence of when a nudge turns to a shove. I'm not talking about that manipulative free trial you subscribe to, but rather something as profound as casting a vote in a national election. Second is the ingrained belief that we should turn to technology for a solution. What we usually hear from experts is, we need more data, or fairer algorithms. We need more diverse technologists. We need better, kinder, more responsible tech companies. But these proposals help us to forget that we have the power to act as individuals and to act together to challenge the seemingly inevitable ends and uses of technology. Because we all deserve the right to feel joy or freedom, not only for our first-time experiences with technology, but our lifetime experience with technology. And to do that, it might just require that we reject what's currently on offer. What counts here is that refusal is about choice, so we can lead lives we value. So I ask of you, what form of civil disobedience can you practice to deny machines and the people and institutions behind them the ability to control us? I'm willing to venture that exercising our right of refusal will define what it means to be an active digital citizen today. Thank you.